Welcome back to Curtis's Corner, special edition on a Wednesday. This is the corner of the internet where I review movies, occasionally unravel mentally, and pretend I'm not terrified of mysterious disappearances while sipping iced coffee like it's not 11 p.m. Now, before we dive into today's feature, which, by the way, had me questioning reality, humanity, and whether or not any of us are actually safe in a world this unhinged, do the polite thing. Like this video, because if I go missing tomorrow, you will want this to show up in your recently watched. Subscribe and hit that bell, because clearly this world is full of jump scares and you need someone like me to warn you about them in style. And join my Patreon. It is only $2 Canadian. That's literally the price of a coffee, unless you're bougie like me and go to Starbucks, in which case that's the price of thinking about ordering a coffee. Get in, loser! We're supporting queer creators. Also, if you missed my Naked Gun review from last week, I bleached my hair for that one. Go see why I looked like a midlife crisis dressed as a joke with a badge. It's fun. Also, be sure to check out my Freakier Friday that I just posted on Monday. Alright. Now let's talk about weapons. And don't worry, this review is 100% spoiler free, unlike this movie, which is 100% anxiety inducing. Now, Weapons is the newest unsettling entry into the wait, what the hell just happened cinematic universe. Directed by Zach Cregger, yes, the same twisted genius behind Barbarian, the movie follows a harrowing mystery triggered by a chilling incident at 2:17 a.m. when 17 children vanish without a trace. Just gone. Like me when someone asks me to split the bill evenly after ordering a side salad. Now, Julia Garner plays Justine Gandy, a teacher who unexpectedly finds herself caught in the middle of something dark, strange, and deeply unsettling. Josh Brolin plays Archer Graff, a man clearly dealing with something. Whether it's trauma, secrets, or just a really bad week, he's unraveling in real time. The film doesn't play things straight, and I say that with love. It slowly peels back layers, reveals unsettling details at its own pace, and lets you sit in the discomfort as things get weirder and more intense. You won't always know what's going on, and honestly, that's kind of the point. And no, I'm not going to tell you what is going on, because that would be a spoiler, and I'm not a monster, just a deeply concerned viewer with trust issues now. So let's talk about Julia Garner, because once again, she shows up, locks in, and delivers a performance that deserves its own awards campaign, shrine, and possibly government-funded research. She plays Justine Gandy with this quiet urgency that builds and builds. You feel every ounce of her dread, confusion, determination, and raw vulnerability. She's not just reacting to the madness, she's grounding it, holding it together with nothing but sheer emotional willpower and the kind of acting that makes you forget that you're watching a movie. That said, I do wish we got more of her. For a character who feels so central to the emotional core of the film, she's surprisingly absent at times. It's not that the movie suffers without her, the story still holds, but every time that she's on screen, the tension sharpens, the stakes feel higher, and the emotions hit harder. So while the ensemble works, there's this lingering feeling that the film would have been even stronger if we stayed closer to her perspective. More Julia Garner is never a bad thing, and in this case, it could have elevated everything just that much more. Josh Brolin really surprised me in this. His performance as Archer Graff is subtle, layered, and quietly compelling. He balances that sense of mystery with just enough emotional weight to keep you hooked, never tipping too far into melodrama or detachment. He's present, impactful, and used exactly the right amount, enough to shape the story without dominating it. And when the dry humor slips through, it is pitch perfect. He delivers those tired, seen it all lines with the kind of weary sarcasm that makes you believe this man has absolutely had it. My only real issue comes at the end, and don't worry, no spoilers, but it felt like the narrative hit a sudden reset, almost like the film backed out of a choice it wasn't ready to commit to. It doesn't derail his impact, but it left me feeling slightly disconnected from where he ended up. Benedict Wong plays Andrew, the school principal where Justine works, and while his role is limited, it leaves a real impression. For most of the film, he's a voice of reason, calm, protective, and genuinely trying to support Justine as the community around her starts to unravel. He brings this quiet authority that makes you feel like someone might have things under control, even if only for a minute. But without getting into spoilers, there's one specific moment where everything shifts. Wong takes that composed, steady presence and flips it into something deeply unsettling. It's sudden, it's intense, and it's one of the most jarring turns in the entire film. And he nails it. The transition is so seamless and so believable that it sticks with you long after it's over. He may not be on screen much, but Benedict Wong does what Benedict Wong does best. Show up, ground the chaos, and then completely flip the table when you least expect it. Cary Christopher delivers one of the most quietly chilling, unexpectedly commanding performances in the entire film, and he does it without ever raising his voice. He plays Alex with this soft, watchful presence that immediately draws you in. At first, you just want to protect him. He's small, vulnerable, clearly dealing with more than any kid should have to, but then something shifts, and suddenly you're not just watching a child in distress, you're watching someone who might actually know how to fight back. He carries every emotion with purpose: fear, grief, confusion, defiance. And the way he reacts to the increasingly bizarre and violent events around him, subtle but razor sharp. No theatrics, no forced creepy kid cliches, just pure, controlled power in the performance. Now, without giving anything away, let's just say he plays a very big role in how things unfold. And by the end, I was equal parts impressed, unnerved, and ready to see him lead his own psychological horror franchise. Cary Christopher didn't just show up for this role, he showed up to make a statement. Now, let's talk about plot. 17 kids vanish. No bodies, no leads, just a growing pile of dread and confusion. From there, the film starts to unravel itself in pieces. It's told out of order from different perspectives, and it makes you work for the answers. If you're looking for a neat, linear horror story you can casually coast through, you're in the wrong theater. But here's the thing, it's not confusing just to be edgy. The way the story fractures and folds in on itself actually works. It builds a sense of unease that creeps under your skin. Every scene feels like a clue you're not quite ready to understand yet, and that disorientation is earned. You're constantly second guessing what you've seen, what you think you know, and who you should even trust. It's like walking into your living room and everything looks normal, but you can't shake the feeling that someone's been watching you from inside the walls. Zach Cregger proves yet again that he's less interested in startling you and more interested in unraveling you slowly. This isn't just some jump scare heavy carnival ride. It's a slow, suffocating descent into dread, and that is what makes it so effective. There are very few traditional boo moments, and when they do show up, they hit because you're already on edge. What Cregger does instead is weaponize unease. He knows how to make you feel like something is wrong long before you can name it, and the tension simmers, the scenes linger for a beat too long, dialogue trails off into silence, and he plays with discomfort like it's a musical note. That low, droning hum you hear in movies, he stretches it until it burrows into your spine. It's less about shocking you and more about corrupting your sense of safety. You don't jump, you flinch. You don't scream, you hold your breath and wait for something you hope never shows up. It's psychological, it's patient, and it is absolutely by design. And is there gore in this film? Oh yeah, it's here. But don't worry, it's not over the top or exploitative. This isn't Saw preschool drop-off. Cregger uses the gore sparingly, but when it hits, it hits. It's gross in that visceral, squirmy way that makes you clench your jaw and question your lunch choices. It's not constant, but it is memorable. And things definitely get moist. If you're squeamish, consider this your warning. Maybe don't watch it while eating, or at the very least, bring a strong stomach, a support system, and someone to text, "What did I just watch?" when it's over. Surprisingly, the film slips in a bit of humor, but not in a meta, self-aware kind of way. It's the kind of dark, awkward comedy that sneaks up on you in the middle of all the tension. You're unsettled, anxious, and then suddenly something so bizarre happens you can't help but laugh. Not because it's silly, but because your brain has no other coping mechanism. By the time the final act hits, the film doesn't just escalate, it spirals. And within that spiral, there are a few genuinely hilarious moments born out of sheer panic, destruction, and characters reacting in the most unhinged ways imaginable. So I'm giving Weapons an A-. Now why the minus? Because while the concept, direction, and performances are all hitting hard, especially in terms of tension and atmosphere, a few choices kept it from being a full A+ for me. Julia Garner deserved way more screen time. There's a certain late game shift that felt more disorienting than impactful, and the uneven focus on key characters made the story feel like it occasionally drifted off course. Kind of like the 17 Kids. Too soon? But even with those nitpicks, this film had me locked in. It is ambitious, unnerving, and stylishly crafted. The kind of movie that doesn't hold your hand, but does whisper creepy things in your ear. If you're into slow burn mystery, psychological chaos, and audio design that makes you flinch, Weapons is absolutely worth your time. If you made it this far and didn't hit that like button, then I'm going to assume you're the reason people keep disappearing. Subscribe for more unhinged reviews, hit that bell so you don't miss the next one, because who knows what weird mystery I'll be ranting about next. And for only $2 Canadian, a literal toonie, join my Patreon. Support queer voices, support unfiltered movie rants, and support me because Starbucks isn't getting any cheaper. Until next time, stay safe, stay sarcastic, and if someone offers you a ride at 2:17 a.m., run.